On behalf of the Language Justice team, we welcome you. If you need interpretation from English into Spanish, please come see me. I will be at the table in the back with the interpreters. We have interpretation headsets for anyone that needs them. Interpretation in Spanish is also available for those watching this via Zoom. I will now make the same announcement in Spanish. Buenas noches a todos. Les damos la bienvenida de parte del equipo de Justicia Lingüística. Si usted necesita interpretación del inglés al español, por favor dirigirse a la mesa de atrás, donde estaré yo con los intérpretes. Les puedo dar audífonos para que puedan escuchar la reunión de la Junta Escolar en español. También se proporcionará interpretación para los que están viendo la reunión a través de Zoom. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance and moment of silence. Ms. Ricard, could you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we move forward with some changes to the agenda, could I have a motion to approve the minutes for April 7th and 8th, 2025 for the school board meetings?
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Jafari and seconded by Dr. Harris Mohammed. Madam Clerk.
Mr. Percival.
Yes.
Ms. Ricard.
Yes.
Mr. Farouk.
Yes.
Mr. Hedgepeth.
Yes.
Ms. Rizzi.
Yes.
Dr. Harris Mohammed. Ms. Burke.
Yes.
Mr. Jafari.
Yes.
Ms. Fernandez.
Yes,
Motion passes.
thank you.
If there's anyone in the room that's playing the audio, would you please turn the, if you're playing the video, please turn the audio off.
Thank you. Now I believe we have a couple of amendments.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that the School Board of the City of Richmond amend the agenda to add to Agenda Item 3, a resolution and vote of the superintendent's contract, and to remove Policy Document 1-5.1, School Board Committee's second read, from the consent agenda item 7.04, deferring until further notice, leaving all other 7.04 documents in place, and to adopt the agenda as amended.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Percival and seconded by Mr. Hedgepath. Madam Clerk.
Mr. Percival.
Yes.
Ms. Ricard.
Yes.
Mr. Farouk.
Yes.
Mr. Hedgepeth.
Yes.
Ms. Rizzi.
Yes.
Dr. Harris Mohammed. Ms. Burke.
Yes.
Mr. Jafari.
Yes.
Ms. Fernandez.
Yes,
Motion passes.
thank you. And now we have one of our favorite parts of the evening is our recognition, and we'll start off with our student representative of the evening.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I am delighted to introduce everyone to Angela Romero from Franklin Military Academy. Angela is a senior at Franklin Military, where she serves as the Raiders commander and participates in the Lynx Corporation Choir and is a past commander of the Color Guard. She is a two-time recipient of both the Franklin Military Academy Principals Award and the DAR Youth Citizenship Award. Angela is also on the honor roll and is a recipient of the West Point Leadership Award. In her spare time, she takes part in numerous community service projects, the Raiders, and likes to sew and do arts and crafts. Upon graduation, she plans to attend the University of Lynchburg and major in exercise science. Please join me in welcoming Angela Romero.
Good evening, board members, Superintendent Canvas, and guests. I want to thank you for the opportunity to join you this evening and it's an honor to represent Franklin Military Academy. I would like to speak with you about a serious issue that's affecting students across the division: how AP classes are scheduled. Right now, many AP courses in Richmond are only offered for one semester, either in the fall or the spring, instead of being taught over the entire school year. That may not sound like a big deal at first, but for students and teachers, it creates real problems. AP classes are college-level courses. They're supposed to be challenging, in-depth, and fast-paced, but still manageable over the course of a full school year. When these classes are squeezed into just a few months, it puts too much pressure on everyone involved. Students are expected to learn a year worth of material in half the time, and the teachers are expected to teach the same amount without enough room to slow down, review, or make sure everyone's keeping up. As a student, I can tell you it's overwhelming. We're rushed through complex topics just to stay on schedule. There's not enough time to ask questions or really understand the material. It's stressful, and in many cases, it hurts our abilities to perform well on the AP exams in May. Think about it. If I take an AP class in the fall, I may go 4 or 5 months without touching the subject before the exam. By then, I have forgotten half of what I've learned. And if I take the classes in the spring, we're scrambled to finish the content right before the test. Either way, it's a disadvantageous setup. This isn't just about getting good grades. For many of us, passing AP exams means earning college credit, saving money on tuition, and passing AP exams that show colleges that we are capable on performing in university levels. These classes open doors, but when we're not given enough time to learn, we're being held back, not because of our ability, but because of scheduling. Our teachers are doing their best, but they're just as rushed as we are. They just don't have time to teach the way they want to teach, and we do not have time to learn the way we need to learn. On behalf of future RPS students, I urge you to reconsider the time frame in which these classes are taught. AP classes need to be covered over the course of a full school year, just like most other school divisions. Give us the time to learn, to grow, and to succeed. We're ready to rise to the challenge because we need the system to support us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Angela. We appreciate your comments. Very, very insightful and instructive as we plan for next year. We're very excited for you to head off to college and see you at graduation. And as you told me, prom is coming up, which I know is very exciting as well. After we finish all the proclamations, we will do a picture with you and with any Franklin military folks who are here and any family members as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. Very well said. And now we will have a recognition of early college academy graduates read by our vice chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Whereas the students enrolled in the Early College Academy have demonstrated their commitment to academic excellence through the pursuit of an associate's degree while enrolled in high school. And whereas because the ECA students in the class of 2025 have each earned a cumulative B average or better, are pursuing an advanced studies diploma, have taken and completed college-level coursework, and have individually earned more than the minimum requirement of 15 transferable college credits, they have been named Governor's Early College Scholars. And whereas the achievements of the students herein has led to college acceptances at such schools as Virginia Commonwealth University, the University of Virginia, Morgan State University, Howard University, Hampton University, Virginia Union University, Virginia State University, Old Dominion University, and the College of William and Mary. And whereas the following students have received accolades for their academic and leadership prowess: Virginia's winner of the 2025 New Century Transfer Pathway Scholarship, Sidney King Open High School. Recognition for leadership at the Teen RVA Summit by Reynolds President Dr. Paula Pando, Davian Washington, Richmond Community High School. Members of the International Honor Society for two-year colleges, Phi Theta Kappa, Sydney King, Vice President of Administration, Mary Dan Su, Vice President of Programming, Brianna LaBelle, Eva Sophia Fields, Sanaya to excellence.
Thank you, Vice Chair Percival. And now we'll have recognition of advanced placement students who earn qualifying scores, read by Mr. Hedgepath.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Whereas we proudly recognize our exceptional AP scholars who have demonstrated outstanding achievement, study skills, and depth of knowledge throughout the 2024-25 school year. Whereas the advanced placement scholars earned a score of 4 or 5 on their 2024 AP exams. This achievement reflects not only academic excellence, but also hard work. Therefore, be it proclaimed that Richmond Public Schools honors and congratulates the AP scholars for their exceptional academic achievements and contributions to their schools and community, as we honor their efforts and applaud their accomplishments.
Thank you, Mr. Hedgepath. At this time, we will have the recognition of Virginia Board of Education 2024 and 2025 Exemplar School Recognition Awards, read by Dr. Harris Muhammad.
Thank you. Whereas the announcement of the Exemplar Performance Awards provides the Virginia Board of Education the opportunity to recognize schools, school divisions, or school boards for excellence in higher achievement, continuous improvement, or innovative practices. Whereas schools can be accredited or accredited with conditions and must meet at least one of the following criteria to receive a Continuous Improvement Exemplar Award. The school demonstrates an increase in the combined rate for math, reading, and science for each of the past 3 academic years, 2021 through 2022, 2022 through 2023, 2023 through 2024, with a total increase across the 3 years of 10 points or more. Number 2, the school demonstrates an increase in the combined rate for 2 or more student groups in reading and math for each of the past 3 years, 2021, 2022, 2022 through 2023, 2023 through 2024, with a total increase across the 3 years of 10 points or more. Number 3, the school demonstrates an increase in the Graduation and Completion Index, or GCI, for each of the past 3 years, 2021 through 2022, 2022 through 2023, 2023 through 2024, with a total increase across the 3 years of 4% or more, and school demonstrates a decrease in the dropout rate for each of the past 3 years, 2021 through 2022, 2022 through 2023, 2023 through 2024, with a total reduction across the 3 years of 15% or more of the first year's dropout rate. Whereas the following schools receive overall academic achievement: Albert Hill Middle School, Broad Rock Elementary School, Chimborazo Elementary School, Martin Luther King Jr. Middle School, Richmond High School for the Arts. Whereas the following schools receive the Continuous Improvement Exemplar Award in student groups: Albert Hill Middle School, Chimborazo Elementary School, Huguenot High School, Martin Luther King Jr. Middle School, Richmond High School for the Arts. Whereas schools must be accredited and meet the following criteria to receive the highest achievement award. Number 1, the school meets state benchmark in reading, math, and science, 75% for reading and 70% for math and science, based on the current year pass rate on state assessments, not including growth or English learner progress. Number 2, all student groups within the school meet state benchmark in reading and math, 75% for reading and 70% for math, based on the current year pass rate on state assessments, not including growth or English learner progress, and for schools with 2 student groups, that is no more than 5 percentage points between the lowest performance group and all other students in the school, or for schools with 3 or more student groups, there is no more than 10 percentage points between the lowest performing group and all other students in the school. Number 3, the school demonstrates a current year chronic absenteeism rate of 15% or lower, whereas the following school received the highest achievement exemplar award goes to Franklin Military Academy. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that Richmond Public Schools recognizes and congratulates the students, educators, staff, and families of the aforementioned schools for their outstanding dedication to excellence in education. Their commitment to academic achievement and growth has set a shining example of schools across our region and beyond. The accomplishments of these remarkable schools are a testament to the power of perseverance, collaboration, and an unwavering belief in the potential of every learner. We extend our heartfelt congratulations and express our deepest appreciation for their continued pursuit of knowledge, equity, and excellence in education.
Outstanding. Thank you so much. And now we'll move right along to 2.05, recognition of family, career, and community leaders of America's State Leadership and Recognition Conference finalists, by Mr. Jafari.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Superintendent Cameras, and my colleagues. Whereas Richmond Public Schools proudly recognizes the outstanding achievements of our students who participated in the 2025 Virginia Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America Leadership and Recognition Conference held from April 4th through 6th, 2025. Whereas 2 students, freshman Treasure Brown and junior Travion Daly, advanced to the FCCLA National Leadership Conference in Orlando, Florida, which will take place from July 5th through 9th, 2025. Their exceptional performance at the state level reflects their dedication, leadership, and commitment to their educational and career goals. Whereas both Treasure and Travion were awarded a prestigious $6,000 scholarship to Sullivan University in Louisville, Kentucky, as part of their state conference success, showcasing their talent and hard work. Whereas the following students from Richmond High School for the Arts earned recognition at the state competition, demonstrating excellence in leadership, communication, and career readiness. Silver medalists, advancing to nationals, Treasure Brown, Travion Daly. Bronze medalists, Cortavius Kelly, Tyasia Barrett, Inez Pettus Beavers, Queen Hamer, Iana Jarvis, Ayana Nevers, Nikki Jones. Whereas we would also like to extend our heartfelt appreciation to FCCLA advisor Darrell Frierson for their dedication and support in guiding and mentoring these students towards success. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that Richmond Public Schools honors and congratulates these students for their remarkable achievements and their outstanding representation of RHSA at the state competition. Their hard work, dedication, and pursuit of excellence make them exemplars of our community's values and vision for student success. We extend our best wishes to Treasure Brown and Travion Daly as they prepare for the national conference and thank all the students for their extraordinary contributions.
Thank you so much. Is Candace Bourne here? Oh, wonderful. We'd ask her to come forward to receive the proclamation for School Nurses Week.
Whereas National Nurses Day was first celebrated in 1972 as an opportunity to foster a better understanding of the role of school nurses in the educational setting. And whereas students' health is inextricably linked to the ability to learn and school nurses support the health and educational success of students by providing access to care. And whereas RPS school nurses serve as core members of the students' teams, collaborating with educators, parents, healthcare providers, and the community organizations to ensure the best possible health outcomes for our students. And whereas school nurses demonstrate unwavering commitment, compassion, and expertise in their work, often going above and beyond to support students in need. Now, therefore, it is proclaimed that Richmond Public Schools recognizes May 6th through 12th, 2025 as School Nurses Week and calls upon all schools and community members to join us in this celebration.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next up, we have 2.07, receive proclamation for School Lunch Hero Week. Ms. Ricard.
Whereas School Lunch Hero Day recognizes the excellent work of all RPS school nutrition professionals who serve our families and students with love each day. And whereas RPS school nutrition staff understand that proper nutrition is essential to academic success, ensuring that all students have access to a healthy breakfast and lunch so they are able to grow physically and academically. And whereas RPS school nutrition staff are respected and loved because of the communities they nourish, the relationships they create, and the lives they touch every day and through events like last month's Taste Test Takeover. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that Richmond Public Schools recognizes Friday, May 2nd, 2025 as School Lunch Hero Day and encourages all schools and community members to join in this celebration.
Thank you, Ms. Ricard. And for item 2.08, I will receive the proclamation for Teacher Appreciation Week. Whereas National Teacher Appreciation Week is observed annually to honor the nation's teachers and the critical role they play in the lives of every child. And whereas teaching is the most impactful profession, as it enables all children to pursue their dreams, whatever those may be, and to become thoughtful, engaged citizens. Whereas RPS teachers create a culture of belonging for our students, supporting their social, their social, emotional development alongside their academic growth. And whereas from preschool to high school, RPS teachers teach, lead, and serve with love each and every day. And whereas RPS and the broader Richmond community could not be more grateful for the dedication, expertise, and heart that Richmond Public School teachers pour into their students every day. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that Richmond Public Schools recognizes May 5th through 9th, 2025 as National Teacher Appreciation Week and encourages everyone to join in this celebration. Thank you. And now for our pictures.
Is there anyone here from Franklin Military? If so, please come to the front. early college graduates, and families, please come to the front. Would the advanced placement students please come forward if anyone's here? Would the advanced placement students please come to the front if anyone's here? The two of you, please. Exemplar students, is there anyone here? My biggest pardon. Exemplar School Recognition Award recipients, please come forward. Family, career, and community leaders, please. School nurses, please. If we have any school lunch heroes, please come forward. Teachers, please come to the front.
So grateful I have a fan. Oh. Thank you all for your patience as we celebrate such amazing accomplishments. We're going to move right along to announcements. I'll open this up for my colleagues. Are there any announcements that anyone has? Ms. Burke.
Thank you so very much. I'm sure I have something great to share from one of the schools in the 7th District. But I must start with our, and I'm sure all of us are in agreement with the Educational Foundation Fund, under the direction of the esteemed CEO, Mr. Cooper. We celebrated Richmond Public Schools, and it certainly was absolutely first-class marvelous. I thought, which I missed because we were here in the board meeting, what's the big gala that took place last night? The Met, what is it? What is it? The Met Gala? They didn't have anything on us. We had a grand time. We celebrated. We announced teachers and counselors and new teachers and administrators, and it was just a great celebration. So thank you to the Educational Foundation for making that happen, because it's so important to celebrate and tell people thank you. So RPS shines. I can't wait to see what's going to happen next year, because it was grand from the beginning to the end. And then on Saturday, with the RPS Staff Appreciation Day, oh my goodness, the best food ever. It was absolutely fabulous. There was so much fun for our children of our faculty and staff members. It was great to see persons that I hadn't seen in a while. Again, under the direction of, I'm told, Jody Granger and Rodney Robinson. It was extremely well done. If you missed it, please try to come next year. Hopefully we'll have it again. But it was a wonderful turnout, and everything was free, and we were giving gift cards, free vegetables, free eggs, the best fried fish ever, okay? Seriously, plus desserts, but it was truly a wonderful time. So Superintendent Cameras, I'd like to thank you for it's always important to me to give thanks and to celebrate. And that takes us to the next level. And one thing I did catch, and I may not say it correctly, the theme of RPS was catching. What is it? Lead with love, learn with love, teach with love. It was a whole lot of love this past weekend. And I hope as we move forward for the next 16 days, 17 days, how many more days before school closes? 19? There was 19 on Friday night. Oh, girl, you're making the year longer, which is okay with me. 17? Let's continue to lift up and encourage and embrace each other. Thank you so very much for an awesome RPS Shines and Appreciation Weekend. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Harris Muhammad, and then Mr. Hedgepeth.
Thank you. I also enjoyed Friday evening. Thank you for allowing me to cut a rug. That was really important. Thank you so much. Also, Saturday's event, I was not able to stay the entire time, but that was nice as well. So thank you to everyone who put that together. Thank you for the umbrella. I needed a new RPS umbrella, and also thank you for the lunch bag. It's the little things for me. Doesn't have to be huge. It's just the little things, allowing board members to come in and dine with those who were present, and also allow us to take part in the goodie bags that were provided as well. So thank you very much for everything the team put together for those two events. Friday, which was the Richmond Ed Foundation, so thank you. And then Saturday, thank you so very much. And then also, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Thank you for all that you do. And then also to the aunties, the grandmothers who are also stepping in the place of serving as a mother. And those for you who are going to celebrate or walk to Mother's Day without their mother, We're praying for you and I'm keeping you close. So thank you so very much.
Thank you. Mr. Hitchback, and then Ms. Rizzi.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First, if you are free and bored on Thursday evening, J.B. Fisher is having its band and orchestra concert from 5 to 7. They're also having an SOL pop-up info dinner if you're hungry. So Mr. Samuels wanted me to remind everyone of that. Also, at the end of this month, on the 28th, Westover Hills Elementary is having a field day. And they need volunteers all day. That's 8:15 to 3:15. I saw Ms. Frenzel here, and she can certainly connect you to our PTA, the Beaver Boosters, or I can certainly connect you if you're unsure of how to make that connection. Ms. Bell mentioned, as we were taking pictures, also that AP exams are happening right now. So as an AP teacher, I understand the challenge that our students are facing, and know that they'll do very, very well. So I just wanted to wish our students good luck on finishing up those AP exams. I know we just started yesterday, and go through the next week. And while we're at it, also for SOL testing, as that is going on as well. So good luck to our kiddos, and thank you to the teachers and the adults who have gotten them ready for that. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Rizzi.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There are several events. I mean, please keep those invitations coming. The end of year events are coming as fast as I can get them on my schedule, but there are a few that I want to highlight. Swansboro Elementary School's Career Day was incredible. There were people there there were barbers, nurses, doctors, engineers, and there was always, I don't know if any of you've seen that wonderful cow that visits our schools, but it was a wonderful day, and I was super excited to be a part of it. Also, there was the Richmond Book Festival at Lois Harrison Jones. It was extraordinarily well attended, a successful event, and again, I was super proud to be there. I also want to shout out Ms. Hines Wetmore and Mr. Frierson at Richmond High School for the Arts for always making sure we have students who show up and participate in the FCCLA, in the I guess it's a conference, but it's also a competition. And our students are always placing, and these are often students who need a great deal of support in order to travel and get there. And so I just want to really shout them out for their dedication to our students. And then I am understanding now that our HSA now has an operating PTA, so that's super exciting. That's something we've been waiting for quite a while. I just want to shout that out. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Percival?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I am about to scoop my colleagues. I hope everybody has your announcements out of the way. Sorry to be petty, but I'm very excited about this announcement. Not only my colleagues, I'm going to scoop the superintendent as well. So I was out Saturday at the staff appreciation event as well, and had a very lengthy and rewarding conversation with Ms. Judy Dykman, who's our coordinator of library services, on the Lit Limo bus. If anybody here is not familiar with the Lit Limo bus, welcome to Richmond, I guess. Go outside and ask a student. Everyone knows the Lit Limo bus. It's full of books. It rolls around to different locations all over the city, hands out books, delivers smiles. My kids loved it. It's been in operation for a few years now. I believe 2020 was when it started. But the announcement is we have reached a milestone for the Lit Limo. We have reached 100,000 students served on the Lit Limo. And when you consider that they never say no to a second book, that's a lot more than 100,000 books. Thank you for the opportunity.
Ms. Ricard?
Thank you. I just wanted to announce and draw attention to two educators in District 2. The first is Ms. Dunn, who organized all our activities and volunteers for the Strawberry Street Festival this past weekend. She did an amazing job. She must have worked so many hours, and she called and she got former students involved, and it was just a really wonderful community event for the Fox community. And then the other are the
hardworking staff at Carver Elementary, including Ms. Mason, the literacy coach. She hosted a SOL prep night right before their SOLs for families, and she just did a wonderful job, and they're working hard over there.
Thank you. I have quite a list of recognition and announcements, so is there anyone else before I begin? Okay. So a lot of amazing things have been happening in RPS, and I didn't realize how active April was. I think sometimes when you get so involved in the work, that you don't take time to lift your head up. So I appreciate the opportunity to share these announcements. I'll echo those that were able to experience RPS Shines. Takeen Cooper, you did an exceptional job with just recognizing so many staff members and teachers across Richmond who truly deserve recognition. This was a night where it was all about them, from the music, and we did dance, to the food, and just the awards themselves. Just everything was tailor-made and done with excellence. And so thank you for your continued leadership. In that same tone, we had the opportunity to do a reconvening. For those who may not be aware, several of the board members over the past few years have been a part of going to different cities and just understanding their CTE programs, because when we bring excellence to Richmond, we want to make sure that we've turned over every stone. And I will tell you that we were able to come back together to share notes. I myself went on the Arizona trip, but Matt went on the Denver trip. Miss Rizzy, Miss Rizzy went on the New York City trip. And it was just an amazing opportunity for us to come back together and enhance what we've learned, compare notes, and get fired up about what's happening in the future. There's an echo, and so whoever has that, if you could adjust that, we'd appreciate it. Next up, I'd like to recognize, we just recently had a telehealth signing. For those who may not be aware, we have launched telehealth in our schools. We have 3 schools that are doing it on a trial basis so that we can iron out the kinks, but we definitely want to expand it to across RPS. Mayor Avula was in attendance. We also want to recognize Children's Hospital of Richmond at VCU. This is a great partnership that allows parents to stay where they, during the day, if they have jobs where they have to work. And, when we get that call as parents to say something's wrong with your child, you hope that they're okay. And you also hope that if it's something that's not as serious, that you don't have to make the adjustments to leave work. And so this is an opportunity where we have, doctors that are on site virtually to kind of help to assess the situation and see if it's needed for them to come, and they can get recommendations virtually. There was a demonstration. So just some great things happening. I also like to recognize Councilwoman Nicole Jones and Judy Dykeman from the Lit Limo, who partnered in bringing little libraries all across the 9th District, where students in the community alike can just go and grab a book, which is something that extends our commitment to literacy. And then also for Teacher Appreciation Week, we've already recognized you all, but particularly in the 9th District, just know that I'll be sending a little bit of something to your principals to celebrate you properly for all that you do. So thank you for all of the teachers across RPS, and shout out to those in the 9th District. And last but certainly not least, I'd like to recognize Chamber RVA. We had an opportunity, we'll talk in more detail, so I won't belabor the point. We had an opportunity to go to Greenville to see some great things that they're doing in their fight for equity and affordable housing. They're doing some great things with CTE programs, career pathways, and we're excited to bring that information back to the school board members here in Richmond very soon with a cohort, and perhaps some of the things that we've learned from them we can incorporate here just to become, as we begin to continue to rise to every challenge that we have. It's good to know who does it well and glean off of that. So thank you all for your patience, but just wanted to take that time to celebrate what's happening here at RPS, which is a lot. At this time, if there is nothing else, Ms. Burke.
Shame on me. This morning at the Jefferson Alumni Center at the University of Richmond, 2 of our students were honored. The communities and schools, I think everybody is familiar, we should be, communities and schools, excuse me. It was a house-packed, sit-down, if you can have a formal breakfast in the morning, beautifully done. One of our students was recognized as a moving on student from Henry L. Marsh, the 3rd Elementary. I took the program out of my purse. I know her father's last name is Bennett, and he's the Georgia Wythe High School graduate because he sat beside me. But a beautiful young student, 5th grade level, was recognized. And then there was a beautiful student from Albert Hill. I know her whole family because they started out in the 7th district. That was also recognized. And these students, and then the last student was a student from Highland Springs High School. But each student will receive a special grant to go to programs during the summer. The young lady from Marsh will participate in the arts and craft program at Robinson Theater in the East End. And the young lady from Albert Hill wants to do hair. And she will be in a special program this summer at Robinson Theater as well. And then when she graduates, there will be a scholarship in place for her to continue to become fully certified and moving on. So I was glad to be there this morning. The superintendent was there, Mr. Percival was there, and also our mayor, Avula, who also previously served on the CIS board, was the guest speaker. But it was a grand event. I'm sure it'll be in RPS Direct or social media or elsewhere. But thank you so much.
Thank you. And after the list that I had, there was one very important announcement that I did want to share. This past April, I was able to collaborate with Superintendent Cameras and Dr. Jennifer Blackwell to host a virtual town hall on the 9th. The topic of discussion was Standing Strong Together, a community forum on understanding ICE mandates and family preparedness. We had almost 100 people who attended the virtual town hall. And it just goes to show you the heart of our community is wanting to just learn and grow together. And so I really want to recognize Dr. Blackwell. She certainly was a subject matter expertise on the call. I just created a space for her to really share and lend information to our communities that desperately want and need it. And so more to come, but thank you so much for her commitment, for the community, for showing up. When we see the community showing up, it just encourages us to continue to do those efforts. So more to come on that. And certainly, last but certainly not least, I'd now like to read a resolution with my Vice Chair, Matt Percival. Whereas Jason Cameras was appointed Division Superintendent of Schools for a term commencing July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2025, the current term. Whereas upon the expiration of the current term, the school board wishes to appoint Mr. Cameras as Division Superintendent for a new term commencing July 1st, 2025, and ending June 30th, 2029, pursuant to the terms of a new employee agreement.
Now therefore, be it resolved that upon the expiration of the current term, Mr. Cameras is appointed Division Superintendent of Schools for a new term commencing July 1, 2025, and ending June 30, 2029. And be it further resolved that the chair and the clerk are authorized to execute the new employment agreement to be effective July 1, 2025, a copy of which is attached here too.
Thank you. And at this time, do we have a motion for the resolution?
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the information as so given to continue the contract of superintendent cameras through 2029.
Madam Chair, I'll second that.
It has been moved by Ms. Burke and seconded by Mr. Hedgepath. Madam Clerk.
Mr. Percival,
Yes.
Ms. Ricard,
Yes.
I'm sorry, 1 second. We can. Yes, ma'am. Would you like to share something, Dr. Harris Mohammed?
Thank you. I just wanted to share with the public this evening that as your school board representative, I will be voting no. And I think it needed to have an opportunity for me to share with you that I will be voting no instead of me just going through the motion of the vote. And the reason for that, and I appreciate my school board colleagues going through the process of discussion before we take a vote. 4 years ago, I voted yes, because I stood on the belief and I stood in decency and order to allow the opportunity for me to see what can be done within the division as a school board representative. And in this term, over the past 4 years, as a school board representative and as a community leader, as a taxpayer, as a mother of a former Richmond Public School student and a have not seen major progress that I feel for all students that should have occurred. Hold on, because you all know I believe in decency and order and also righteousness. But it's also an opportunity for me to say, regardless of what I believe professionally, I am still going to stand 10 toes down for all students, regardless of their zip code, the people who work for Richmond Public Schools, and everyone else who pours into Richmond Public Schools. As a 6th District School Board representative, I can speak for the schools that have been in the 6th District. Oak Grove, Bellmead is new, but I have not seen all of my schools receive equitable resources that other schools have received. And that has disappointed me, and it also has deeply concerned me. So I wanted to take this opportunity, as professional as I am, and also as a woman who stands in righteousness at all times, to let you know from me where I stood. That does not mean that I am not going to work with the superintendent for all students. What that does mean is that I do not agree. And so even though with one that does not agree, that does not mean that I would not work with my school board colleagues, because it takes all of us to work together to make sure that the progress that our school division so deserves, that means standing firm on additional funding with our legislators, working with our city council representatives, and all of the Commonwealth of Virginia. But what I will not do is
30 seconds.
babysit a lack of accountability. That's not what I'm going to do. I was not built that way. I was not raised that way. And so I look forward to continuing the work with all of you. But I felt deeply in my soul that you needed to hear from me before I just voted no. That is not fair to you who have supported me. That's not fair to those who have not supported me. Because regardless of where you stand with Dr. Shonda M. Harris Muhammad, I am still going to continue to work in Richmond City Public Schools. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Harris Mohammed. Are there any other comments at this time? Madam Clerk.
Mr. Percival,
Yes.
Ms. Ricard,
Yes.
Mr. Farouk,
Yes.
Mr. Hedgepeth,
Yes.
Ms. Rizzi,
Yes.
Dr. Harris Mohammed,
No.
Ms. Burke,
Yes.
Mr. Jafari,
Yes.
Ms. Fernandez.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. At this time, Mr. Cameron would like to share a few words.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to express my profound gratitude to the school board for your vote of support and for entrusting me with this awesome responsibility and really this great privilege of serving our 22,000 brilliant, creative, dynamic, resilient, empathetic, inspiring students. And they keep me up at night, and they give me enormous joy. And that's why this has been and will continue to be the greatest professional honor of my life. We have been through a lot together at RPS, a global pandemic, tragedy, and now a national assault on our very ideals. But we are on the rise, and of course we have a long way to go, but I know that we will ensure that every one of our students is prepared to lead a choice-filled life so that they can pursue their dreams, whatever they may be. And I know we will do that because of the partnership that all of you have extended to me, and I am just so grateful and humbled for the opportunity to continue to work with all of you. Together, there's nothing we can't achieve. So thank you, thank you, thank you, and I look forward to the next 4 years.
Thank you, Superintendent Cameras. We certainly have a road ahead of us, but we voted our conscience, and we do believe that these next 4 years will be crucial to the success of our students in RPS. And based upon the outcomes that have been presented before us up until now, we will continue to work in collaboration to ensure that our students get the education that they so desperately deserve. And so thank you for your commitment. We will hold you to that, and we look forward to the next 4 years together. Thank you. At this time, we will have public comment. Ms. Richardson, if you could share the guidelines.
Conduct of speakers. Speakers shall state their full legal name prior to addressing the school board. Speakers will address the school board as a whole rather than individual school board members, the division superintendent, school board attorney, clerk, or any other staff member. The school board will listen to comments but will not respond during the public information period. Persons appearing before the school board will not be allowed to 1, campaign for public office, 2, promote private business ventures, or 3, use profanity or vulgar language. If a community member's comments during the public information session relate to school-based issues, the chair may refer that individual to Richmond Public Schools Administration for one-on-one consultation and follow-up. It is important that all community members who wish to participate in the public information period abide by the guidelines set forth in this policy. Refusal to abide by the policy will result in the forfeiture of the remaining time that has been allotted to the speaker. Community members may express their views in writing in lieu of any oral presentation. Comments received in writing in lieu of an oral presentation will not be read during the meeting, but shall be posted to the school board platform board docs.
Thank you. And before we call our pre-registered speakers forward, colleagues, we do have a situation where our time for public comment is limited to 30 minutes. However, we have 20 people that have registered. And so I would like to know the will of the board. Are we wanting to extend it for an additional time frame? Are we wanting to extend it to all those that have pre-registered? Just want to understand what the will of the board will be. Dr. Harris Muhammad.
I just want us to be clear that, and you all heard me say this since we've been together, I am fine with extending the public comment period. But what I have to remind us of is when we make a practice of doing things that is not of our current practice and policy, that's all I'm saying, we are going to have to come back to this again. And so we have consistently shared thus far that we want to make sure that as a board, we are maintaining not only decorum, but our practices and processes. But if that's what you, because I believe in voices, I believe in not shielding any voices. All I'm saying and listen to my heart when I say this, is that policy matters. So if we're going to adjust it now, we're going to have to be prepared for something else that comes up that we're going to have to adjust it as well. If that is the will, to just know it's coming back, and how you deal with it this evening, how you stand on it tonight, is going to speak of how we deal with it professionally in the future. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you, Ms. Burke. Mr. Jafari, Mr. Farouk.
If Mr. Percival can go first. Who was it first?
Who was first? Thank you.
Mr. Hedgepath?
Yeah, he's, Vice Chair's gonna keep me straight. Okay, Mr. Hedgepath, and then who else? Mr. Farouk, and then we'll come to this side. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I concur with Dr. Harris Mohammed that policy matters greatly, and also that voices matter. I would be in favor of extending time to allow for all pre-registered speakers to have the time to speak this evening.
Thank you. Mr. Farouk,
Same, Madam Chair, I concur.
Ms. Burke? I'm sorry, Mr. Jafari.
That's okay. I think that is pivotal to listen to employees. And so obviously, I concur that we should listen and let them speak their mind, say what they need to say. Thank you.
Mr. Percival?
Just to back up Dr. Harris Mohammed, if we're going to make this repeatable, if we were to get next month 100 people, would we extend it for 2 hours? I would be in favor of extending it for an allotted period of time, say an additional 15 minutes.
Ms. Rizzi, would you like to weigh in?
I tend to agree with Mr. Percival. I believe we would do better to extend it by a designated period of time so that we can be fair in the future if we should have to suspend this rule again.
Before Ms. Burke speaks, I'd like to also share, I am in agreement with Dr. Harris Mohammed and Mr. Percival. I do value the voices of the community and our staff, teachers alike. However, for the sake of continuity, after the comment section is over, we still have board business to attend to. And sometimes that draws out to 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. And so if we are to be consistent in our approach, I think we have to be able to draw the line at some point to say, if next week we do have 100 folks, are we going to extend the same courtesy? And so we do have to think about that sense of consistency as we move forward, because we do have a lot to consider. Ms. Burke.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As I stated earlier, I'm in agreement with everyone being here to speak. They have that right. But we do have a practice that we have practiced in the past that was effective and that was in policy, that each person has 3 minutes normally for a single and 5 minutes for a group. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yes. So what we could do is another practice that we've practiced in the past, nothing new, documented in the notes, is that the time was lessened to 2 minutes per person rather than 3, so that everybody could speak. And we have had 100 persons to speak when we went through collective bargaining and other activities and programs as well. So if they came out to speak, I think that we must be mindful, especially if they registered in advance. Now, if they didn't register, that's something else. So you said right now we have 20 people that registered. All right, so I would like my suggestion is that we give everybody the chance to speak that registered, but to lessen the time to 2 minutes. It's based upon past experience, so everybody can speak. Thank you.
So it sounds as though we have 3 proposals on the table. The first is to lessen the time from 3 minutes to 2 minutes. We have one that has proposed to extend it by 15 minutes. And then we have, I'm assuming, those that would like to just keep it at 30 minutes And so what I will need to understand from my colleagues is which approach would we like to take. Mr. Hedgepath.
Madam Chair, I would propose that we lessen the time to 2 minutes from 3 minutes, as Ms. Burke recommended, because then that would allow also for all of our pre-registered speakers to speak.
Second.
I concur.
Are we prepared to vote or do we need debate? All right, Madam Clerk.
Can we add a guideline for those who have signed up to speak for an organization, which is traditionally 5 minutes? Would you like to reduce that by a specific time?
Dr. Harris Mohammed.
The only concern I have about that is they weren't prepared. They didn't know that. And so I know I know what we're trying to do. So, I mean, there is no perfect madness to this right now. No perfect solution to this. If we're going to have to equate or make both things equitable. If we reduce the 3 minutes to 2 minutes, then we're gonna have to reduce the 5 minutes to 3 minutes to make it equitable. We can't just address one and not address the other. That's my recommendation, but it's.
Concerning that, PAC, is there any precedent here? I just want to make sure legally we are in good standing. If you can come to the microphone.
I don't have any legal concerns about what's being proposed and voted on.
Mr. Percival?
Actually, is there a motion on the table?
There's a motion on the table. The question is, for organizations, will we, to make it equitable in Dr. Harris Mohammed's words, will we also adjust their time from 5 minutes to 3 minutes?
Madam Chair, can I add that as an amendment to my motion?
Sure can. No outbursts will be tolerated from this dais. We're trying to navigate this. These are new waters for us as well. But we ask for your patience as we navigate these decisions. Thank you so much. Mr. Hedgepath.
Do you need a formal motion now? Okay, Madam Chair, I'll motion that we will revise our public comment time maximums to 3 minutes per group and 2 minutes per individual to allow for the pre-registered speakers to speak within our time.
For clarity's sake, are we voting for that for today?
Yes.
Just specifically for?
Yes, ma'am.
For March 6, 2025.
Yes, ma'am.
May 6th.
Sorry.
May
6, 2025. I got the M in there. I just got the month wrong. Okay. Thank you. And allow her to second it first, and then we can do the debate. Ms. Burt, I believe you had seconded previously.
Second.
There's a point of debate. Dr. Harris Mohammed or
I just want to
comment?
make sure we don't have to suspend the rule on the, I just want to make, are we good with that? Okay.
Thank you. Madam Clerk.
Mr. Percival.
Yes.
Ms. Ricard.
Yes.
Mr. Farouk.
No.
Mr. Hedgepath.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Ms. Rizzi.
Yes.
Dr. Harris Mohammed.
Yes.
Ms. Burke.
Yes.
Mr. Jafari.
Yes.
Ms. Fernandez.
No.
Motion passes.
Thank you. All right, at this time, just for clarity's sake, because I know that was a lot to navigate through, we have updated the the timeframes for those that are now organizations to speak for 2 minutes and for organizations to speak for, what was it, 3 minutes. Okay. Now, when you come up to the podium, just so that we can move through these as quickly as possible, if you could sign your name first, I'll call you up.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
is it appropriate? I have one more motion.
sure.
I motion to extend the public speaking time by 15 minutes.
As opposed to.
Sorry, the amount of time dedicated in the agenda from 30 minutes total to 45, or is that something we already did?
So essentially what's going to happen here is we're going to move forward until they all speak.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Regardless of what time that may be. So it may be an additional 15 minutes, it may be additional 20. I haven't done the math yet, but
That's
whatever
fine.
that is listed.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, okay, so we will ask that you come up 4 at a time, please, line up. Once you sign the clipboard, if you could pass it to the person behind you. We want to hear from you, but we ask that you please respect the dais and abide by the rules that we've established here tonight. Please, I know that this is a passionate topic for you, but please do your best to not have any outbursts. We want to do this in order and allow everyone to be heard and to speak. And we do value your opinion here on tonight. With that being said, the list that I have here, we have Mariah White, Mamie Taylor, Paige Elwager, and Cynthia Cole. In that order, please. Good evening.
Good evening, School Board President. I would like to talk about a little bit about the budget, and I know I got 2 minutes, so I'm going to just abbreviate some things. Dealing with the budget, listening to what your changes are, and I'm going to always say this, I think 10% of the administration leadership, you are top heavy. I'm going to continue to say that, top heavy. That needs to be cut. If you're planning to continue the same every year, the same cuts are being done. And I'm not going to mention those cuts because you already know those cuts. How do you think you're going to continue to fund the collective bargaining? Collective bargaining, which you know if the funds aren't available, then you got to go back to the negotiable table. I'm not sure if you read your CBA, but I think that every new school board member needs to read that. Now, I would like to go into what everybody is down here for, because the time was changed based on that, and that was the bus drivers, which seems to be, here in Richmond, I think we are laughing stock, because everybody wants to know, we need bus drivers, and we're getting rid of bus drivers, and you're getting rid of the 5 tough bus drivers that drive all the time. What I think that we need to do, the codes that we're giving, someone needs to look at the Code of Virginia 22-1-178, the requirement for employees to drive buses. You had someone from the first, I can't even think of the bus, the first student that was driving RPS buses. How can they do that? That's a violation.
Thank you. Mamie Taylor.
Yes. Greetings, school board meetings, superintendent. My name is Mamie Taylor, and I am the RPS 5 and Transportation Department Representative with Lionel Local 804. Tonight, I want to express my deep gratitude for the collaboration with the Teamsters as well as the Richmond Education Association on behalf of RPS 5. If you're with RPS 5, please stand, as well as Transportation. Thank you very much. I come to you today with a heavy heart that is coupled with deep disappointment in how this body before me has chosen to terminate 5 of your most dedicated drivers without regard to their commitment to RPS, their dedication to your student body who have come to love them, appreciate them, and depend on them, or the toll that this reckless decision is taken on them, affecting their finances, their family, and their emotional state of being. And I say reckless because this decision that may have been unilateral was made without extending to them due process. The same due process is extended to your cabinet members, your executives, and as of last night in policy changes, your family members, all of you. This so-called investigation was conducted a day or so after the RPS 5 attended the school board meeting on April the 8th, the day that they decided to come to a meeting to share their concerns about the 2-hour after-school run pay. They came to share those very concerns with their bosses, you all, but they're also their elected officials. And yes, the RPS 5 can and do vote, and they exercise their voices and voted for some of you. So I implore you to give them your strong ear when they come before you tonight. The RPS 5 come to work every day early in the morning, long before you all have had your first cup of coffee, and they're here long after you sit down to dinner with your loved ones, all to ensure that our babies arrive to school on time and get home safely after their daily activities. They make sure that all opportunities afforded our children come to fruition. All the activities and field trips our children love happen because of our drivers' wheels turn. Why this unilateral decision was made to terminate RPS 5, I know some of you are aware because the news is now national. Where was the full investigation? Why was that not conducted? Where was their due process? No one talked to any of the RPS 5. No conversations were had. You went even further in your discipline, all without one conversation, and you had the audacity to take away their accrued vacation time benefits and cited some state code that made them ineligible for employment in any other capacity for 12 months. You tell us, is that an overreach of power? Do you even know the RPS 5 that you terminated? How many times have you all visited the transportation compounds? Do you know most of the people you plucked from their sense of normalcy didn't even know each other before their termination day on the 25th? Do you know that Sonny Randolph was one of the first drivers on the line during the global pandemic, COVID? Do you know that Kimia Williams, with 25 years in RPS, is a part of the collective bargaining, and she's here every month for the last year? Do you know that Daryl Williams is a floater filling in to call out some vacancies that you all decided last night that you would not fill?
Ms. Taylor, your time is up.
Do the
Thank
right
you.
thing.
Thank you so much.
Process. Thank you.
Once your time is up, I respectfully ask that you respect the dais and discontinue in speaking. Thank you so much. Before Ms. Page speaks, I'd also ask Katina Hickman, Sonny Randolph, Randolph, and Daryl Bryson Williams, if you could go ahead and line up. Please ensure that you sign the clipboard. Ms. Richardson has it for you. Thank you so much. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Cynthia Cole. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. On the day of April the 25th, I was working on the bus. I got a text from the supervisor to come to the office. When I got there, it handed me a letter to get my personal belongings in Noah Elementary School, to report to Noah Elementary School at 2:30. I did so with RPS 5. We were called in one by one and received a letter saying that I was terminated with no warning, no investigation. It was unbelievable, and it's still unbelievable. After 29 years, you want me to throw away like, you want me, after 29 years, you want to throw me like trash, like my hard work and dedication all these years, nothing. I have been driving for RPS for 29 years. I have watched my babies grow up from elementary school to high school graduation and everything in the middle. It is especially difficult to think about my married monthly babies. They don't deserve to have my bus drivers taken away, especially like this. They must have so many questions and wonder why I'm thinking when they didn't see me on Monday.
I know change is difficult, especially for our little people. They deserve so much better than RPS. Why did you all think that firing us like this is the right thing to do, and to fire us without having a conversation is unthinkable? On April the 8th, Ms. Parker called me and asked me, was I doing my activity? I said, yes, I'm doing my 5 o'clock, but cover my 6:05. But I called right back and said,
30
no,
seconds.
I'm gonna do my activity. But I had 2 other drivers do the same thing. So why was I terminated and the other drivers won't terminate? Ms. Parker said she called Ms. Runner and Miss Sandra Lee from HB and told them that I was going to do my activity. So I got terminated just for calling back and said I'm doing my activity. Then there was no other workers who did, there was another worker
Time.
did the same thing. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Katina Hickman. Good evening, board members. I come before you this day to express my concerns and devastation in regards to my termination. On April the 25th, I received a devastating termination letter. Board members, first allow me to inform you that from the start of the 2-hour activity mediation, I have been attending school board meetings. I have asked my supervisor to cover my activity before I attend these meetings. It was never a problem nor a question in any way. So why was April the 8th so different? I'm not going to ask you why you made that decision because you included that in the termination letter. But I am asking you why you didn't conduct a more informative, inclusive investigation. Why didn't you ask the RPS 5 for our statements concerning this matter? Why weren't we offered a warning or the opportunity to resign? There was no due process. This termination has emotionally affected RPS 5, our families, our students, and our colleagues. I have been employed at RPS for a little short of 10 years. I come to work on time every day, ready to perform my duties. I work hard and go beyond. Along with my colleagues, we do whatever needs to be done to get these babies home safely. I have never had a write-up or a negative complaint. So for you to throw us
30
out
seconds.
on the street like we were nothing, how could you? What type of board are you? You have shown us that you don't care about the the dedication, the love, the passion, the hard work, or the fact that we deprive our family of time because we are getting off too late and too darn tired to spend time with them. RPS is led with love. Lead with love. Where is the love for your employees? Transportation department is a
Time.
puzzle.
Thank you. Mr. Randolph, before you speak,
Good
I'd
evening.
ask, just one moment. Before you speak, I'd ask Kimya Williams, Roslyn Anderson, and Sheila Garland, if you could come forward and sign the clipboard. Thank you, Mr. Randolph.
Good evening, school board. My name is Sonny Randolph. And first of all, I want to say a big thanks to Ms. Sherry Box for the role he played in my son's education and achievement so far. I'm a very dedicated special needs operator. My kids' parents have confidence and can always rely on me being on time so that they can go on their various appointments. During the COVID pandemic, when thousands of people were dying, I was the first driver to be called on the front line to deliver food to various locations. That is how I met Ms. Box. That was my first time. I put myself in knocking on doors without even knowing the danger I have put myself in. I still, because of the love I have, I still went ahead and then stood by the whole time. On April 25th, my supervisor texted me to come to see her in the office, where she handed me a letter. I opened the letter and read before my supervisor, and it states, remove all your personal items and meet at 2:30 at Nora. But then I had CBI, which is community-based instruction. I asked my supervisor, can I still do the CBI? And she said, yes. I carried my CBI students to their site. I returned, parked the bus, and I got into my personal car and reported to Noel,
30
only
seconds.
to be given a termination letter. I'm a sole provider for my case, and my dedication rubbed off on my son. He was the valedictorian from Armstrong High School, came out with 2 associate's degrees. That is how I met, if you're not on the school board last year, that is how I met the school board members. And that is how, I can't even explain to my son. He just came from school.
Time.
Please read
Thank
his
you.
yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would ask you all if you could refrain from clapping instead, based upon the policy that was just stated to me. Again, if you have signs, feel free to raise them. You can certainly raise your hands, but for the sake of time and continuity, we would ask that you remain silent. Thank you. Mr. Bryson Williams.
How you doing? My name is Darrell Williams. I have been employed at RPS for 2.5 years. I had never attended a school board meeting until April the 8th. It was then that I spoke out for the first time, and nearly 3 weeks later, I was terminated. I'm a floater, the only floater, and I'm not assigned to any runs or activities. So that means I pick up students who miss their bus, make sure they get to school safe and sound, and also means I cover runs and field trips that other drivers don't show up for work, and I truly fill in the gaps. Even when sometimes I'm doing too much, I remember how I grew up as a troubled child, and I would rather see kids in school than on the streets getting in trouble. My philosophy is reach one, teach one. Of the RPS 5, I'm the only driver from the South Compound, and up until the 8th, our path never crossed. How could I have gotten together to conspire a strike that is preposterous? I would like to know what the director and superintendent have against the RPS 5. Not only we was targeted for exercising our freedom of speech to speak for our wages, but we were also targeted in the audit report that for stealing overtime pay that was absolutely false. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. marched and fought and died for our people to have the freedom of speech without being prosecuted. My question is, how do you allow one man to make a life-changing decision without y'all knowing? No investigation, no due process, or protocol is beyond ludicrous. Dr. King fought, marched, and spoke up and died for his dream. So last night, I had a dream that the school board reinstated and restored the RPS 5 as a whole, and I said I had a dream. Made that dream come true, reinstate me along with the RPS 5, and this should be done immediately. Thank you.
Thank you. Kimmy Williams. Kimmy Williams.
Good afternoon. My name is Kimia Williams. I'm not only a driver, but I'm a driver trainer. I've trained at least 90% of your fleet that's sitting out here today, including the monitors. First of all, I want to give honor to my Lord and Savior, because without him, I would not be able to handle what I'm going through with this termination. This administration has done the unthinkable. They terminated the 5 of us out of 30, the RPS 5, without considering how this act would affect us and our families, our colleagues, and my students, all of our students. I personally have been impacted. I'm experiencing depression, migraines, I can't sleep, and I can't understand why I'm before you today under these circumstances. As a member of the collective bargaining committee, I have attended school board meetings for the past year, and I have spoken. And on April the 8th, why was that day so different? That's a question mark. Instead of being commended for my participation, on April 25th, nearly 3 weeks later, I was given the same letter as my colleagues. And the letter stripped us of all of our benefits, our retirement, and my 25 years of service. The letter then went on to state that we were not allowed to work in any other surrounding county or city for the next 12 months. How disheartening and disconnected could this administration be to sign off on something so cruel, and to a veteran driver, no less?
This is an administration that
30
proclaims
seconds.
to operate with love. We, the RPS 5, haven't done anything wrong. We simply want the due process that we are entitled to. I miss my students, especially my Churchill babies, who I have grown to love over the 25 years. I'm suffering too. The school board members I've asked to be reinstated effective immediate along with the entire RPS 5. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms.
Have a good one.
Williams. As Ms. Anderson comes up, Sheila Garland, Jamari Hill, Alana Hamilton, if you can come forward and sign the clipboard. Ms. Richardson has it over here to my left, your right. Ms. Anderson, thank you.
Good evening, school board members. My name is Rosalind Anderson. Forgive me, my allergies have taken my voice. I'm a cafeteria manager at Lucille Brown Middle School. I'm speaking on behalf of the REA. As a union, we believe that an injury to one is an injury to all. All actions have consequences. Currently, there are a few issues that leave room for concern. We all have a lot of decisions to make, and the most important ones should be conducted with a high level of discernment. Having the power doesn't automatically mean using it. Justification doesn't make a decision the correct one. First, school nutrition services workers and managers are receiving write-ups from supervisors that have no experience in working in the school cafeteria. When managers have asked for help, raised concerns, in the interest of being proactive, managers are being written up for things that they have already raised the alarm on, such as working short staff, broken ovens, and equipment. As myself, I have been working 2 years at Brown Middle School, short 2 people. So it's just 3 people in my kitchen, sometime maybe 4, and we do it. We feed over 400 kids for lunch and 300 for breakfast. These write-ups are occurring instead of receiving help. When the new supervisors are coming to our school, they don't come in to assist us. They come in and they write us up for things that they say that we are not doing, but they have showed no justification. When they don't have experience, they don't even come in to help us. And this is being done under the direction of our director and our new area supervisors. Also, we are being managed by bullying, intimidation, and our jobs are being threatened. We also stand in solidarity with the 5 bus drivers. This decision to fire them raises a double standard because when bus drivers call out due to the icy conditions during our snow days, none of them were fired. But 5 bus drivers among many calling off after school to attend the school board meeting is considered as a strike. How can it be a strike when they attended work all day and made the decision to go and made sure that the students were home safely? This decision doesn't look good for RPS. This is a dangerous precedent being set for any workers wanting to speak out, join rallies, or even just simply take off for an after-school gig with RPS. These 5 bus drivers aren't just employees, but being human beings who work tirelessly for our schools, for our school system, and chose to take a day to be advocate for themselves.
30 seconds.
I'm sorry. We believe these decisions to fire union members come from the board's legal counsel, who have shared before that he has long ties with the union law firms and union legislations. And the school board discussed forming a committee to search for new legal counsel. We encourage the board to actually do this because this type of union busting and intimidation is not fair and not what we stand for. We stand for love. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, if we could just that's perfect. Thank you so much. Feel free to raise your signs as well. Next up, we have Sheila Garland.
Good evening. My name is Sheila Garland. I'm the cafeteria manager at John Marshall High School. I'm the cafeteria manager at Richmond Technical Center. In September of 2024, I applied for the position of school nutrition area supervisor, but was not given offered an interview. Following this, I inquired about the reasons for my non-selection. given that I hold a Bachelor of Science in Food Science and Nutrition Management, and I bring 38 years of management experience to the table. After raising my concerns to HR, I was encouraged to reapply. I did so and was subsequently granted a first-round interview, followed by a second-round interview. However, after the second-round interview, I was informed that I had not been selected. When I found out the reason, further clarification, I was told the decision was based on a desire to hire someone with broader experience. This reasoning was perplexing considering my long service. 3 years as a diet technician, Chippenham Hospital, 5 years as a manager for Body Noel Restaurant. I have 38 years with Richmond Public Schools. I have often taken on task training members who later advanced to managerial roles. So my question is, how much broader experience do you need? When I applied for the position, the posting required a bachelor's degree from an accredited institution, but it did not specify any preferred degree. To my knowledge, neither of the candidates ultimately selected for the role holds a bachelor's degree. None of them.
30
My
seconds.
question, why did the job description change so many times? I have concerns about age discrimination. During my interview, I was asked several times how long I planned to stay. The people that was hired are additionally, they're under the age of 40. So to me, I feel that age discrimination played a vital role in my non-selection. I am bringing this matter to the attention of leadership in hope of a fair and transparent resolution. Should this matter remain
Time.
unresolved internally, I will
Thank
explore
you
other
so
avenues.
much. Thank you for your time. It's my understanding that Jamari Hill is not present. Alana Hamilton, and then we have Chris Hollis, Tasha Archer, and Naya Singleton. If you all could come forward. Are you Miss Hamilton?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Alana Hamilton, and I am a senior at Armstrong High School. On April 25th, our bus drivers were laid off for exercising their constitutional rights to attend the school board meeting. This unlawful act has impacted RPS students who take pride in the ones who have driven them to school safely since they were small children. Miss Williams has been my RPS bus driver since I first started. I can remember being in kindergarten at Fairfield Elementary School. It was there when I met Miss Williams first. She instantly became a familiar and safe face. When I transitioned to secondary at Dr. Martin Luther King Middle School, I was happy to see that my mornings would still be beginning with Miss Williams. And now, as I finish my high school career, what has meant the most to me is that I can say I have still been greeted with a warm heart and a welcoming smile for the past 13 years. I realize that this is a privilege. Not every child is beginning their day with a person like our bus driver, Miss Williams. I strongly believe that she has been wrongly punished, and losing such a dedicated person would be a mistake. Please, for the sake of the children, reinstate our bus drivers. Thank you.
Thank you. I have on the list next, Chris Hollis, and then Tasha Archer, Naya Singleton. Good evening.
Good evening, school board members, constituents. My name is Chris Hollis. I am the Assistant Business Manager for LiUNA, Local 804. I'm here today standing behind some giants that just spoke to you all with very powerful messages. I don't know if y'all are familiar with what happened. I hear love, I hear solidarity, I hear the month of April has been very historical, but April itself is an historical month. April the 4th, 1968, a great man was slain and assassinated, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in Memphis, Tennessee, for standing up for 2 sanitation workers who died using faulty equipment. You know, they were going through so much racism during that time, but he gave his life because he believed in the people. He believed in solidarity. He believed in change. Y'all are standing on the shoulders of this giant to do the right thing. April the 8th, these workers came down, the RPS 5, to use that power of collective bargaining to be able to use their constitutional rights, the freedom of speech and association, to let their voices be heard on conditions that affect their well-being and their families, as well as the community. They weren't just drivers. They were community members. You know, they were generational drivers, and they still are. They probably transported some of your children around. They've transported the constituents' children around. They are very involved in their community. The actions that happen, when we look and we reflect, we will remember this day. We remember the day where they were terminated. I was there with them. I can't even express to you how I felt. On that 25th day, consulting them with something that was unheard of. They didn't know where to turn. They didn't know what to do. All they knew was they did not do anything wrong. They stood on their rights to let their voices be heard, and they were terminated. We're looking at a situation, we had 5 drivers out of 30-plus drivers that were out here that day on the 8th. Nobody else was terminated. You're trying to tell me out of 150 drivers that only 5 were let loose? They could not cover those runs? And they're doing what we call past practice, coming down here, letting their voices be heard, and standing on something that is a true live process to this day. Historically, a collective bargaining. You guys have the power and authority as the local government to reinstate them with a motion of a vote. Their lives and the lives of the constituents, the lives of the students are forever going to be changed because they were very impactful. Their lives matter. They deserve dignity and respect with their labor. Tonight, I look
30
back at my
seconds.
constituents and I ask everyone to stand, and you raise your right hand. This hand represents 5 fingers, and we all got them if we're not disabled. These represents the 5 RPS workers. When I close my fist, that's solidarity. That's them standing together and us standing with them. Do the right thing, a motion to vote, and reinstate the 5. Thank you so much.
Thank you. As Ms. Archer?
Yes.
Okay, come forward. I would ask that Sandra Deo, Gail Brown, Mark Caddy come forward as well. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tasha Archer. I'm here on the behalf of the students in the special education classroom at Overby Shepherd. I was let go on April 17th because I had stood up for those kids. I have made many complaints to Mr. Spain, Dr. Hester, and Ms. Bland about how Ms. Crawley has aggressively and roughly put her hands, handle the kids, also neglecting the fact that she's not going by their IEPs. She neglects the little girl that I take care of. Also, each member's on the board, I have sent y'all an email that I also had sent to the news station, along with the email I sent to Mr. Spain, Ms. Bland, and Dr. Hester on March 13th about those allegations. They did not do their job as reporting it as being mandated reporters. Rather, they retaliated and got me out of there, making allegations that I was vaping at the Little Feet meet around the school. And these are nothing but allegations. They have no proof, no cameras or anything, according to my nursing agency told me. They just going by witnesses. I never had a complaint, disciplinary action, not until after I started making complaints about what Ms. Crawley is doing to those kids in that classroom. It's a hostile environment, unsafe, and not healthy for those kids. Not only do they gossip in that classroom, the day I was escorted out that afternoon, that morning, they were discussing with the other 2 adults about a parent and her child, about how she's a bad parent. By them not complying to being mandated reporters in the state of Virginia, I can record for evidence, and that's exactly what I did for those kids who are nonverbal. At least 3 out of 4 of those kids are nonverbal. They did an investigation. I heard on April 25th that Ms. Crawley, because I was the one who contacted CPS, I was the one who made the police report, because the school officials.
Thank you.
I'll be back.
We have Naya Singleton. Is Naya Singleton? Okay, okay. Oh, we're unable to do audio texts. Thank you. We appreciate it. Sandra Deo?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
My name is Sandra Dale. I'm the manager at Huguenot High School. I'm here to address the school board to speak of on the shortage of staff, not only at Huguenot High School, a problem that has been going on for years now without support from our supervisor or area director. They are very aware of this situation, and we have to resort to borrowing people from other schools to cover. But those people are probably, the other schools probably short also. We shouldn't have to be robbing Peter to pay Paul. In the past, the supervisors would come down to help when a school was down a staff member, but not now. The supervisors are only supervising and don't get their hands dirty. If we are not going to get any support from our supervisor or anyone else, we might as well adopt the same policy at every school and not bother trying to be a manager and an employee burning the counter at both ends. The supervisors are not acting in the best interest of the students or their employees by refusing to assist in any capacity with labor. We can't work ourselves to death, cover our schools, and do our managerial tasks. In the past, this department may have been well-led and supported. Unfortunately, that is no longer the case. We need supervisors who are not just supervising,
30 seconds.
but also willing to do the work when needed. We are burnt out.
Thank you. As Ms. Brown comes forward, I also ask for Catherine Frandell. Rogers, if you're present, please come forward at this time and sign the clipboard. And it's my understanding that Mark Caddy is not present. Thank you, Ms. Brown.
Good evening, school board members and Superintendent Cameras. I am Gail Brown, current Teacher of the Year, ICC, and Management Committee member at RCEEA. We do lead with love, teach with love, respect, and hope for all of our students and their families. We are a full-fledged school, not a program. Our students do graduate and become productive contributors to their communities. What we lack is full transparency and support from those outside of our school. A special thank you goes to our John Marshall family, Ms. Rizzi, Dr. Harris Muhammad, Ms. Burke, and Ms. Waller. We should not have to beg, bargain, or plead for 2 or 3 in hopes of 5. In today's daily changing economy and administration, the stress the staff endures every renewal is everything but love. We have consistently met the goals and exceeded expectations. At what point will Principal Burton and his direction to his staff be trusted? It is time for the RCEEA to be recognized as the gem it is inside of the pride of Northside. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Franzel, good evening.
Hi there, good evening. My name is Katherine Franzel. I'm a first grade teacher at Westover Hills Elementary School. I've submitted written comment in support of high quality instructional materials, and I hope you'll take the time to read that comment in perspective. However, tonight I am here to speak on the urgent demand that the school board vote to reinstate the 5 bus drivers until they receive due process. Our RPS drivers have the most important task of being our students' first and last interaction with RPS employees each day. These terminated bus drivers are veteran drivers who love their students. Like me, their students are their kids, and their kids miss them, and they miss their kids. In our classrooms, we teach our students the power of their voice as a tool through writing and speaking. These bus drivers were simply using their voice to advocate for their rights as employees. While RPS released a statement regarding its support of the staff's right to the First Amendment, firing these bus drivers over sharing their voices and attending a school board meeting makes me greatly question RPS's commitment to the right of free speech for employees. School board meetings are often the only public forum for staff and community members to share their concerns and their comments. In order to attend, some staff must call out in order to be present. This begs the question, Is there really equitable access to free speech if our employees will be fired for using their time to come to the meetings when there's such limited access to these public forums already? Not only are these dedicated RPS employees abruptly losing their jobs and benefits, they're losing their ability to work around the state. How will this impact the recruitment of new staff and retention of our most valued veteran staff?
Time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Rogers?
Good evening. My name is Brenda Rogers, and I have worked for RPS for 25 years. During my 25 years, I have always had an activity. I've always got 2 hours for my activity. I worked out of Fairfield Elementary School doing extended day and Peter Paul. I was told years ago that the programs have their own budgets, that the program paid for their buses, pay RPS for their buses, and pay RPS for their drivers. They also pay the 2 hours. Some drivers were getting 2 hours and a half, 2 hours or 3. It depends on how long they have to ride. But I'm just wondering why, if they are paying, they have their budget, why is it such a problem of us keeping our 2 hours? My employees, co-workers that got terminated, I don't know how to explain how that affected me. 25 years, some of them 20, almost 30. It just broke my heart that they have lost everything just because they came out and spoke how they feel. Ms. Williams, Mr. Sonny, they have spoken for us since last year, for us drivers. The ones you have terminated are the ones who are backbones for RPS. Anybody who do not call, they call out for their activity, Ms. Cole, she jump in it tenfold. She'll
30
never
seconds.
turn them down. Tina and Ms. Williams, they pick up all the children in the East End when drivers are not here. So I just appreciate it if y'all would just reinstate the 5 and allow us to keep our 2 hours. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for your patience. At this time, we'll transition from public information to 5.01, discuss revise fiscal year 2026 budget.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We are in the process of gathering answers to all the questions that the board asked last night, and we'll have those for you soon. I did want to just open up the opportunity for any additional questions now that the board has had a little bit more time to review the document, see if there's any other information that we can gather to provide for you. Our goal is to get everything that you have asked by the start of next week so that you have a couple of weeks to review it all in preparation for our June meetings when ultimately you will vote. I know Ms. Rizzi had shared one comment and wanted to welcome the opportunity if you wanted to share more about that, or if there are any others that folks have this evening.
Dr. Harris Mohammed and Ms. Rizzi.
Thank you. Wanted to know, Mr. Cameras, is it possible for us to know exactly what positions will be eliminated under the $3 million? And if those positions were assigned to a particular school or program, sometimes it's a instructional specialist for the academic office for middle school. So that will help me know what the positions are, the positions are that we are eliminating for the $3 million. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. We're gathering that along with the dates since it's been vacant and a couple other data points that folks asked about last night.
Thank you. Ms. Rizzi.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I sent an email that basically stated that, given further, more time to process, I do have some concerns about getting rid of one of our auditor positions. It is really important that that department is strong. And, I remember the process that we had to go to create those positions and to, without discussion, decide to eliminate that position does not sit well with me. I am also concerned that we are also, the school board budget is a very small budget, that we have to sacrifice our professional development funds does also concern me. I mean, there's so much evidence that shows that good professional development is vital toward preparing school board members to be good stewards of our constituents, not only finances, but also to be models of good governance. And so to cut those two items really just disturbs me, considering how very small our school board budget is. I don't think people understand we have no administrative support. Our budget is extremely bare bones, and to cut things that are in support of the people who are the ones here making some of the most vital decisions for our district is a great concern of mine, and I just wanted to express that. I'm wondering if there's some other way that we can meet our budget goals without having to pare down a budget that's already extremely bare bones.
Thank you. In response to your very valid concerns, Ms. Rizzi, with respect to professional development, I think it is consensus of all of us that we want to very much continue down the path of professional development as a team. Just want to reiterate what I shared on yesterday, that the discretionary funding that has been allotted to us has not changed. The line item, the additional line item for professional development was one that we discussed because there hadn't been a line item for professional development for a school board as a team. I think the original amount was 25,000 or something that we discussed, and I think there was it was reduced to 10,000. That being said, not to put Tankeen Cooper on the spot, we did have a very lengthy discussion. I'm not sure if he wants to share a part of that discussion about his commitment to perhaps if there are other ways for us to receive the funding needed to support our continued professional development. So just something to consider. Obviously, it's the will of the board, but just wanted to make sure that I was, clear in sharing that. We will have professional development. We are committed to that as a team, and we will ensure that what we need to make that happen will happen. So, but thank you for sharing your thoughts. They're very valid. Who was next? Mr. Farouk and then Ms. Burke.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A few questions. One is, I wanted to confirm that the elimination of the junior position vacancy in the audit department, is that our school board audit staff? Okay. Second.
For those who are listening, the answer is yes.
The second question is, going back to decompression, that the removal of central office decompression cost as a separate line item now included in salaries. If you could just explain to me how that still counts as a reduction. Is it because we're still spending less than we anticipated? Or are we just moving it from one part of the budget to the other?
Mr. Cameras.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Mr. Farouk, for the question. So it is actually a reduction. Perhaps the nomenclature we used in the presentation wasn't quite accurate. It was a set of a pot of money set aside to cover the decompression adjustments. Now that we know what all those decompression adjustments are, we don't need that full pot to cover all of them.
Follow up.
Sorry, I had one last thing, which was I would request for administration to set up some time for us at a future board meeting to get a more robust training on our budget. Specifically, I know that we have intro information in our budget books, but specifically like how we can track spending in the monthly financial reports, how that can help us get a more accurate picture of where we could get some savings or where we can ask more questions, and then a better understanding of some of the terminology that's in the budget. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Berg.
Thank you, Madam Chair. These are two things that we discussed last night as well. The auditor, when I asked last night about the junior position, um, and also with professional development. With the auditor position, I don't want us to go backwards. I too have concerns about that position because thinking back about before your term, Superintendent Cameras, that department had been drowned down to one person, as we well know. And we still have some catching up to do. So as changes are coming our way, so far as finances are concerned, I am deeply concerned with narrowing a position down in the auditing department. At one time, that department, I believe, had 5 people working, yeah. So this is about, at the end of the day, we must be held responsible for our financial responsibilities and being held accountable for that as well. So we really need to, and knowing also we're going to have a lot of things to change around because of the expected budget cuts, we really need to keep a deep focus on that auditing piece. I am very concerned about doing away with that position. So that's number one. Number two, the professional development piece, I asked about that last night. I missed the email or whatever when it was in place about reducing from 25 to 10. I didn't see that. I just read about it and the superintendent said it was decided. I'm concerned about the process. I would like to hear at some point what Mr. Cooper has in mind regarding the professional development for us, not just as a group, but also individually as well. Just what is the vision there? Because in order to vote on that 10,000, I would like to have more information before moving forward. So if he has a framework, it has to be done tonight, correct? Because the budget is finally due. June, and our next meeting is May.
So there's time to discuss between now and.
Or a call meeting or whatever. Okay, well, whatever's convenient, I don't want to be out of order, but I would like to know professional development. We have to have professional development under our hats in order to lead. And I know money's tight, but just as we take care of our teachers and our professionals, we need to be mindful that we're up to date as well. So either tonight or a call meeting, you all, graduations and all the rest. May I ask if Mr. Cooper has any information at this time?
Sure. Before we transition to that, I want to clarify a few things. The first one is the budget, the revisions that you see before you are recommendations from Superintendent Cameron and the administration. As he was looking to cut line items, he expressed an interest in perhaps minimize or reducing the amount for professional development. It was not agreed upon, other than the sense of, sure, you can certainly put it in that for us to explore as a group. So there is nothing in writing to say that this is something that is written in stone. That is why we're having this discussion together as a group. Secondly, the sense for professional development, to be fair to Mr. Cooper, it was on the helm of a conversation based upon, I may have mentioned this before, as we try to explore professional development for the group and understand what the price point looks like. There's a lot that's out there that is quite expensive. And so to offset those costs, I just put a tickler out there in conversation to say, would you be open and willing to help us support those efforts? Should we not be able to come up with the full amount? So that conversation was separate and certainly not a part of this reduction piece, but I think it's valid to share because as we look to find the funding that's needed for us to continue our professional development efforts, there's a commitment. There was not a dollar amount that was provided. It was a one-off conversation that we wanted to explore later with the board. So just to be fair to Takeen, I don't want him to be put on the spot too bad. But please come forward and share.
Good evening.
Good evening.
As Chair Fernandez shared, a number of you all have reached out to me privately asking about professional development. And I told her that I preferred group the professional development first. But I'm definitely willing to figure it out. And I know that some of this professional development can be upwards of $100,000. That isn't what I'm prepared to commit to. But I do think, like, first of all, I commend you all for asking for this. And there are definitely some folks who are interested in investing in this as well.
Thank you. Any other questions for Mr. Cooper? Thank you. Sure, Ms. Rizzi.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You know, I wanted to go back to, you know, I think I definitely support Mr. Farouk's
1
comment
minute.
that, you know, we have a chance to go through budgeting, training, so that we can work to make sure that we are as informed as we can in terms of identifying places that cost cutting makes sense. I also want to highlight the fact that our council member, you know, counterparts have full-time administrative support, a person per representative. We have none, and our clerk is, you know, having to handle admin support for us in addition to their other duties. And so, you know, that was something I wanted to have a discussion about later, but if we're trimming our budget down to the fact that we don't even have a dime to spare, that may not be something we can look at. But, you know, I think in terms of what we can invest so that we are the best functioning body that we can be, is worth considering.
Thank you, Ms. Rizzi. Mr. Hedgepath.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to echo my colleagues, but not to belabor the point, that I just appreciate the creative ideas that we're coming up with and how we can fund our professional development. I think it's really important to model the growth mindset from the board, so that, again, you know, our scholars and our employees see that we're seeking to learn, and hope that, you know, we can support their learning as well. So thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other topics of discussion for the budget as we move forward? Do we want to come to a consensus tonight in terms of at least a line item? Want to take some time to stew over it? Okay. We do have some time.
If there are any other questions, or if any board member would like to meet to go over anything in detail, please just let me know. We are happy to do that this week, next week. Want to make sure you have all the information you need to make the best possible decision.
Mr. Jafari.
Thanks, Madam Chair. As I'm going to take a risk, and I'm going to speak for all of the incoming board members. I appreciate and defer to Ritzy, Dr. Harris Muhammad, and Ms. Burke. Learning as a crash course matter, not just budgetary issues, but also how we arrive at what we are cutting. It's a little bit more drawn out. We need a better understanding. Colleague, Mr. Farouk, has pretty much articulated that. So we need to look at a way. I know that some of what we do is time sensitive. We have to consider certain things, and we have to arrive at a budget, and I get all of that. But we have to try to build some kind of, not necessarily a consensus, but build in some avenues so that we can have some sessions to understand. You know, questions came up even last night when we looked at what was being cut. How long have those positions actually been open? Those are things that we don't know. Now, previous board members are aware of that. We don't know. They have an idea. Again, and I think that just reiterates what I'm saying. You know, we need, as a board, to understand just how long they've been open. It needs to be more developed how we arrive at what we're cutting, rather than to put it in a line. Thanks, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And I would also drop a plug in for the commitment that the VSBA has to support our needs as a group. And I think budget conversation and training would fit nicely with that regard, and something that we've discussed previously, and something that we can certainly consider as we go to VSBA training at some point, which is mandatory. And so I would just admonish everyone who has not been able to respond to the doodle link to please do so, so that we can come to some type of consensus for VSBA training, and perhaps maybe budget will be the first item that we put on the list, just something to throw out there and explore. But we would, just something to consider. Thank you all so much for your feedback. At this time, we'll move forward to board action items. The first one is for, to receive for action Head Start report, but it's my understanding that we already did that. Moving right along to 6.02, receive for action the recommendation to authorize the superintendent to make budget transfers to balance all accounts for fiscal 2024-2025. Dr. Harris Mohammed.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I don't mind making this motion. I just want to know, is it a reasonable ask? For me, it is, to know at some point what funds are being moved where to balance out the budget, from which departments. I'm just naming something, student activities, I don't know, food, nutrition may not be, I'm just naming things that I think it's important, not only for this board to know, but also for the public to know, that of course we gotta have a balanced budget, but where are we moving money from to balance to another line item? That is critically important, and we need to articulate that, and we need to be able to show that to our public as to where money is being moved. So I don't mind making the motion after the discussion, but I am making a request, a strong recommendation that this process is transparent. Thank you.
Mr. Cameras.
Yes, absolutely. All funds that are transferred will be shared in our typical transfer report that is always in other information. This just authorizes us to do things quickly as we get to the end of the year to make sure that we do end exactly at a balanced budget for the year.
Ms. Ricard.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Superintendent Cameras, for that. I just wanted to echo what Dr. Harris Mohammed said, because that was going to be my comment as well. I think the transparency to our constituents is really important, and we heard about that in this last budget cycle. And it also is just then something we can talk about if we get asked questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I move that the Richmond School Board approve the superintendent. Let me look at the real thing. I can't see. I was trying. I move that the Richmond School Board authorizes the superintendent to make needed budget transfers to close out the fiscal year
Second.
from May 7th, 2025 through June 30th, 2025.
Second.
It's been moved by Dr. Harris Mohammed and seconded by Ms. Ricard. Madam Clerk.
Mr. Percival.
Yes.
Ms. Ricard.
Yes.
Mr. Farouk.
Yes.
Mr. Hedgepeth.
Yes.
Ms. Rizzi.
Yes.
Dr. Harris Mohammed.
Yes.
Ms. Burke.
Yes.
Mr. Jafari.
Yes.
Ms. Fernandez.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. 6.03, request for authorization for the superintendent to hire school-based staff during the months of June, July, and August. Dr. Harris Mohammed.
I move that the Richmond School, if there's no discussion, I never want to jump into a motion without discussion.
Mr. Percival.
Can we just get a brief understanding as to how this is different from other months of the year?
Mr. Cameras.
Yes, it's a little bit of a belt and suspenders sort of thing, in that we, in the past, have not had the same frequency of board meetings throughout the summer, and wanted to be able to quickly hire staff and not lose them for vacancies. We kept it on as just a it's been past practice, and it just ensures that even before something, we were to hire an elementary teacher before they come to personnel actions, we'd be able to give them an offer letter and tell them that they're good to go. It's really about filling the vacancy.
Mr. Jafari?
Thanks, Superintendent Cameras. Can you give me some idea when we say hiring school-based staff? Give me some examples. What kind of capacities, what kind of positions we talking about?
Yes, sir. Teachers, could be custodians, could be instructional coaches, could be instructional assistants, anyone whose daily work is at the school.
So it could run the entire gamut of all of the positions at the school,
Yes, sir.
as needed, on a need basis.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
Ms. Burke?
Just as a little background knowledge due to the question that Mr. Jafari asked. Usually don't have a meeting in July. Usually the month of July, we may have one meeting, but we're scheduled differently this time around. So that gives the superintendent, rather than waiting on us to approve the personnel listing, that he can go ahead and hire, rather than waiting for us to meet. So that's how that came about. I don't know how we added 2 meetings for July. I missed that part, okay? But it is what it is, so that's the background. Yes, so.
That can be explored, can it? I mean, we can certainly explore that, just so. Stay tuned. Thank you for the feedback. Mr. Jafari?
Madam Chair, as a clarification point, and this is more attuned to what I was speaking to earlier, wasn't my intent to accuse the members of knowing how long those positions have been open. More, my statement was intended to suggest that we learn from your experience about the budget process itself. So that's what I mean. That's what I meant. So I just wanted to clarify that and just make, yeah. How you talking about how long the positions have been open, and I wanted to make clear I wasn't trying to accuse anybody of that, Okay, it's good. It was what we talked about.
Thank you.
Okay.
My only feedback, well, I just have an ask. I know that we've had some campaigns around hard to staff schools, and what has been the response as of late? We are very eagerly interested in understanding what those vacancies look like. That was a request that was shared last night and has been shared previously as well. But to tack on to that, we do want to also understand, to someone's point, I forget who shared it, how long those vacancies have been in place and how specifically is that going to affect the decision to not hire for certain roles in the school system, because it does play a role, and we just want to understand what that impact looks like.
Yes, Madam Chair, might I suggest we do a full staffing update at our June meeting, where we can go through all the vacancies by school. It's actually the traditional time when we start to do that throughout the summer and into the fall, so we can add that on.
Thank you. And if we could get that prior to the meeting in an appropriate time for us to really digest it and
Yes, ma'am.
get a chance to get a clear view from the constituents and community, that would be great. Ms. Rizzi and Ms. Ricard? No, Ms. Rizzi?
Yeah, I'm just asking if Dr. Harris Mohammed has a second for her motion so that we can,
I don't think she finished.
I think you started it.
She said she
I
wanted to
started
wait for
it, but we
discussion.
did not have a discussion, so,
Okay.
but I can finish the motion.
We're ready whenever you are, Dr. Harris Mohammed.
I'm just trying to remember what I was going to say.
It's right here. You went.
I move that the school board authorizes the superintendent to hire school-based staff during the months of June, July, and August.
Second.
It's been moved by Dr. Harris Mohammed and seconded by Ms. Rizzi. Madam Clerk.
Mr. Percival.
Yes.
Ms. Ricard.
Yes.
Mr. Farouk. Mr. Hedgepeth.
Yes.
Ms. Rizzi.
Yes.
Dr. Harris Mohammed.
Yes.
Ms. Burke.
Yes.
Mr. Jafari.
Yes.
Ms. Fernandez.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right. At this time, do we have a motion for the consent agenda? Dr. Harris Mohammed.
I move that the school board approves the consent agenda.
I'll second that, Madam Chair.
Been moved by Dr. Harris Mohammed.
I would ask that you all state in the consent agenda that you want to pull out the
We-
item. You talked about it at the head of the
Yeah.
meeting, but just for my edification, if you would just include that.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Help me understand. So when we did the amendment at the beginning of the meeting, it was called out that it would be pulled out and deferred. Why would we need to do it a second time? Just for my own edification.
Just for cleanliness of the minutes for me, but if you all are satisfied with it being recorded at the top and
Yeah, I
not
mean-
in this section, then that's fine.
Yeah, because once we've amended it, then the amendment seals the deal. Right, or, okay, okay. All right, all right. Dr. Harris Mohammed?
I think what the confusion that I see, and I think our public may have some confusion too. Whenever the board has to vote on action items, it has typically historically been under board action. So it threw me that it was under the consent agenda. I totally ignored consent agenda. I heard it, but it didn't click. So I mean, if that's how we want to move forward, that's fine, but I'm used to seeing the under board action, board business, which told us that we were voting on items under our board business, or board action item, excuse me. So everything that we needed to vote on,
So typically with board action items, there's some form of discussion. For the items that are under consent agenda, they are populated together because there's typically no discussion. They're grouped together, so things like personnel items and the like, so that we can just have one vote instead of doing them individually. That's typically the purpose. Yeah, and they were previously debated. Yes,
Right, thank you,
Ms.
Madam
Burke.
Chair. What I was going to say, I was thrown as well when I saw all the Title 1, 2, but we did discuss on yesterday. But I understand what the clerk was stating in regards to, so I guess she'll just list that. So if we don't have any discussion on it as we have in the past.
correct, because
Thank you.
the discussion was on
Thank you.
yesterday. So at that time, we would have, so like there was an example of one where we did want to pull it out for future discussion, which was the amendment that we did tonight. Appreciate the dialogue. So I think we were at a vote.
Was there a motion and a second? I'm sorry.
Yes, it was moved by Dr. Harris Mohammed, I believe seconded by Mr. Hedgepath. Madam Clerk.
Mr. Percival,
Yes.
Ms. Ricard,
Yes.
Mr. Farouk?
Yes.
I said that out of order. I apologize. Mr. Hedgebeth,
Yes.
I make sure did I say it in order? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think you were.
Ms. Rizzi?
Correct.
Dr. Harris Mohammed?
yes.
Ms. Burke?
Yes.
Mr. Jafari?
Yes.
Ms. Fernandez?
Abstain.
Motion passes.
Thank you. At this time, we'll move right along to 8.01, new business. Do we have any? I will note that there are some items that we did have listed. Do you want to go ahead and, I think probably be good for us to start calling those out? Because what we try to do, colleagues, is as things are mentioned throughout the meeting, that we have a compiled list. And so perhaps it'd be good for us to share what we've captured from the last couple of days.
Thank you, Madam Chair. What I've captured from the meeting today is we have a request for budget training from Mr. Farouk. We have a request from Dr. Harris Mohammed for a tally of budget end-of-year transfers, and then a request from Superintendent Cameras to deliver us a full staffing update at the next board meeting.
Are there any additional items? Ms. Burke, Ms. Rizzi, Mr. Farouk.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Mr. Vice Chair. I would like to get a copy of that listing, but I know it was stated last night about the Early College Academy, but I didn't hear when that was going to be posted. So I know we have more than those 3 items that you just listed. So can we get a running list to include all to be scheduled? Because there are a couple of things that, and I can go through my notes and send them to you if you'd like. But I would like to have a copy of that, nothing formal. But it was shared last night when I asked about Title I funds to help support our early college academy students. But you didn't list it just now. And
Can you help me out? What is
I'll send it, I can send it to you. The
Okay, that'd
early
be great.
college
Thank you.
academy students, so far as, I know we said it was gonna be on the list, but I don't know when, and it's not on your list. Is this a list just for the next meeting or moving forward? Can we get a list of everything listed? Because there's a lot more listed than those 3 items.
Yes, we will provide you with the running list. For your specific request, it's already been added to, I believe it's June's agenda, which is why this is just a running list of pending items that will be added. Because yours has already been added, it's not gonna be on that list, just FYI.
Well, that's what I need to know, what is confusing, because I don't know when it's going to be scheduled when. You all know as the team that does the agenda, but we don't know. So, and I also would like to, as you asked, Mr. Vice Chair, does that make sense, Mr. Vice Chair? Okay. Armstrong High School's request, you asked me to word that. I'd like to know when that's coming up on the agenda as well, and how that should be worded. It's not a resolution, but I need the superintendent's advice on how that should be done. So we probably need to talk, but it does need to get on the agenda soon.
For clarification, that's the Armstrong Kennedy renaming?
Yes, it is on here. I already have it on the list.
Oh, so you did you put that? Oh, that was from yesterday?
No, that was from May 1st. There was an email, and I put it on the agenda list. Oh, my apologies. I was just reading from tonight. My apologies for the confusion. So that was just what I captured tonight. So
We'll get through it. It's gonna be just fine. So we'll be sure to make sure that everyone receives perhaps we'll do it as a best practice after each meeting to send it out to the full board. And obviously, if there's anything in between meetings, you can certainly send it via email, and we're happy to accommodate whoever has a request. I missed my hand count, so Ms. Rizzi, okay, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and it may be on the agenda. I'd asked for us to have a brief discussion about access to buildings. And then just a recommendation when that spreadsheet is shared with board members. Is that on an agenda?
It was on the agenda for last night under other information.
Okay. All right, well, I guess that's passed. Just in the future, yeah, I think I'd ask that it be pulled out and be an agenda item, so I didn't look for it there. But for the future, I would love it, Mr. Percival, is when you share that spreadsheet, if you could just indicate dates, for when, yeah, okay, those things end up on the agenda, that would be helpful.
Dr. Harris Mohammed?
Yes, I would like to know if we can explore how we can support the students in our AP courses in a different manner. They are semester-based, but they don't take the exam until May. And so no amount of remediation between the end of January to the time they test is going to maintain the credibility of their knowledge. And so if it's a budget discussion, when we begin talking about our calendar with the previous board, put in policy, we begin calendar discussions in November, I think we need to begin discussions with our AP, how we are going to, because we can't right now. We're already very close to ending this budget discussion for 25, 26. But if it's something we can do to support them to adjust their schedule, our student representative made a valid point, but we've heard it before. We've heard it before. I believe Ms. Renzi was chair when we heard it before. Ms. Burke was chair when it came up originally as when I joined the board in 21. It is an opportunity for us to address this. That's, I believe, one of the reasons why our students do not finish that track, because it's months, it's a delay for them completing the coursework and then preparing to test. It's not the same as a remediation cycle or methodology for standards of learning assessment. It's not the same. And so I just want us to begin having that discussion to support our kids. That young lady may not be a benefactor of what we decide in the future, but she spoke on behalf of thousands of students that may be in an AP course, and that is equity. Thank you.
Thank you. It's been added to the list, Dr. Harris Mohammed. Mr. Hedgepeth and then Mr. Farouk.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to echo with what Dr. Harris Mohammed said. I am an AP teacher, and I teach a class in the fall, and the students don't actually take that test until May, just as our student mentioned. And so what I, as a teacher, as a practitioner, do would be to offer tutoring sessions for the students, review sessions for the students, and I imagine that teachers do that, of course, and that is an extra burden on our AP teachers and on our AP students, in addition to what they already have to accomplish in the spring. Perhaps it's a larger conversation about our schedule. I've actually had a lot of feedback about the 4x4 at the secondary level in the 4th district, and so perhaps it's about the AP program, perhaps it's a bigger conversation, but I would like to have that. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Farouk.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I wanted to raise a point that I've raised a few times in the past, which is that we have many very important presentations that come to the full board, and our meetings become very long, and yet they deserve our full attention and discussion. So I really think it's a good idea to think about having some of those presentations done in a committee first. I understand that in most cases, they may still have to present to the full board, but at a lot of these committee meetings, there's at least 4 of us there. That's a little less than half the board. So I think we'll get a lot of discussion, a lot of questions out of the way. Perhaps it will help the presentation be more ready for the full board. And I just think it's a way to push our work into some of these smaller groups where we can have more discussion. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you for your feedback. Essentially, all committee meetings, they do provide a way to just really identify and flesh out a lot of the information that is presented for the board, which is extremely helpful. That doesn't change that as an agenda item, however. And the challenge that we have is if we leave everything open up for debate or discussion, it just makes our meetings longer, which is why we're trying to explore the option of adding it in other information for items where we want to make sure that the public is informed, but also, and obviously we're not held to that. We can certainly pull it out and have the conversation if needed, but it does help us to have that sense of continuity and really try and streamline the time that we have for the meeting. So this will always be, I think this is going to be a continued discussion as we move forward as a group, and we can continue to explore options and see what works. It appears that other information section did work very well. We got out a very nice time last night. Knock on wood, it's 8:47. We might be getting out a decent hour tonight too. So if that works, that's something that we could continue to explore. But at the end of the day, all 9 of us have to come to a consensus regardless of whatever the agenda item is. And that does require conversation and debate, which is healthy and is great. But not all things do necessarily need to be an open discussion. For example, we can always utilize that approach to help streamline the meetings. But we welcome the continued feedback and conversation surrounding that. Ms. Rizzi.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to clarify if one of us decides that something ought to be a part of an open discussion, we will be given consideration. Okay, thank you.
You're echoing what I just said. So yes, we are on the same page. Are there any other items? If not, we can move to a motion for close.
Okay. I move that the school board of the city of Richmond convene in closed session to discuss and consider the performance and discipline of classified employees and to discuss the same matters with legal counsel as authorized by Virginia Code 2.2-371A1 and A8, and to consult with legal counsel regarding an employment matter as authorized by Virginia Code 2.2-371A8. Yes.
It's been moved by Ms. Rizzi and seconded by Ms. Burke. Madam Clerk.
Mr. Percival,
Yes.
Mr. Card,
Yes.
Mr. Farouk,
Yes.
Mr. Hedgepeth,
Yes.
Ms. Rizzi, Dr. Harris Mohammed,
Yes.
Ms. Burke, Mr. Jafari, Ms. Fernandez.
Yes,
Motion passes.
we are now in close.